What up, good old people of Radio Land? This is your boy Bionic, and I am back with another segment of A-440 Radio. And yes, she's back. She made the first round of cuts.
First round of cuts.
Ray is back.
I'm back.
She might make the team. I don't know for sure. We got to see what other folk have to offer.
I'll make the team.
Put
me in, coach.
Of course, as always, thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, and the only station giving you double the information and inspiration. And like I said, this is A-440 Radio. I'm Bionic. This is Ray. And as always, you know, we got to plug ayleemusic.com. Make sure you go out there, get the whole discography, y'all. The music is fire. Or if you just want to listen to it on your streaming platforms, add it to your playlist and whatnot, go ahead and do a search for A.Y.L.E.E. And like I said, listen to the music. It's fire, but you ain't got to take my word for it. And you know, of course, we got to shout out our sponsors, Back to Health Chiropractic Medical Center, serving the Triangle for over 20 years with chiropractic, functional nutrition, and DOT exams. 2 locations to serve you, 6224 Fayetteville Road, Suite 106B in Durham, and 1708 Traywick Road, Suite 205 in Raleigh. And Arcade of Thrones, where they offer a unique vibe for the perfect social gaming experience. 399 Hubert Street in Raleigh. And for more details, make sure to call 984-200-4419, or you can email Arcade of Thrones. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Arcade of Thrones, or hit the website arcadeofthrones.com. Now, the topic of the day is, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, Ray, what are you doing?
I'm in the studio with a madman.
That is right. I am a madman. Nah, but check this out. What are you doing? So, again, you know, I got to give you the background on how these topics became these topics. So, I'm watching Trigger Warning on Netflix. Yes,
show.
It's another Netflix topic, people. Get over it. So, I'm watching Trigger Warning on Netflix, starring Killer Mike, the rapper. And first off, man, I binge watched this joint. One of my homeboys hit me up, told me about it. And I just hadn't seen it. I hadn't been on Netflix, so I hadn't seen it yet. Hadn't seen any previews or anything. But he hit me up. He was like, yo, man, Killer Mike did his thing. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is what he was talking about. Okay, cool. Let me check it out. And I'm watching the show, and of course, this is spoiler-free territory. But I watched the first episode, and the first episode is basically talking about buying black. And that's one thing that we struggle with as, you know, black people, as society, just all that. And how he goes about, you know, promoting buying black. There's a lot of things he said in there that really resonated with me, because there's a lot of people out there that claim that they buy black, you know. There's a lot of people out there that don't see the point, which makes no sense to me. They don't even try. It is harder than people think, but you know.
But it's also not as hard as people think. Without providing spoilers, there are resources, and is a resource that was mentioned in his show, which is We Buy Black and Buy Black. And so there are these platforms that are starting to emerge that do promote and kind of keep a running tab on Black-owned businesses and the different items that they provide. So,
yeah, I mean, people, if it's something you really want to do, Google is your friend. I mean, you know, you don't just stop at asking Facebook, but Google is also your friend. Your circles may be semi-limited in some of the knowledge that they have. But, you know, like I said, that first episode was about buying black. And he did his part. That's why I said, what are you doing? He did his part. He walked the walk. He talked the talk. Second episode, he talked about education and the education system, which it's no, you know, people that know me know that I am pro-education. I'm just anti-school.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't really understand that concept. And I'm like, yo, man, like you can be educated by anything.
Facts.
You know, like you can educate yourself via all these other methods. I just said Google is your friend. You know, my mom always said, if you can read, you can do anything. Add to that, if you can comprehend, you can do anything. And if you can follow instructions, you can do anything. But essentially, it's one of those things of, I've always been like, okay, yes, you may need some certain certifications. Yes, you need a degree for certain fields that you want to go into. But, you know, a friend of mine's dad said, you pay for what you don't know, you get paid for what you know.
Nice.
And in a sense of, you know, carpentry or, you know, plumbing or
vocational skills, basically.
Yeah, like all that stuff. Of course, there's a certain skill set that comes with that, but that's not saying that you can't learn it yourself. And that's not saying you have to go to a school or have to go to, you know, some kind of vocational school or some major university. Think about all these guys, all these backyard mechanics that used to just tinker and learn and, you know, they love the craft. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Again, what are you doing?
What are you doing? So, as an educator, I have to say that surprisingly, I agree with you on a lot of what you're saying. I think there definitely is a difference between being pro-education versus being pro-school. If I had to do it all over again without the pleading of my parents, I probably would choose some different decisions. But I also have to say that there's something to be said for the education that I have gotten, which is plentiful.
Well, now I'm gonna go take it on a tangent a little bit.
Let's tangent.
So a lot of times, you know, Black folk talk about, oh, we need to, you know, have our own space, our own land, our own society, and get back to blase, blah, so on and so forth.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, man, it sounds good. A lot of things sound good on paper.
Yes.
But let's talk about the execution.
Yes.
And, you know, folk could say, oh, I'm a hater. Folk could say, oh, you know, whatever they want to say about it. But I've always asked the question, or, you know, I'm a pessimist. I've always asked the question, okay, let's just say America decides, okay, Black people, y'all can have this area right here.
Mm-hmm.
How many Black farmers do you know? Now, I'm not talking about how many Black farmers are there in America. I'm legit talking about how many Black farmers do you know?
2.
My dad grew up on a farm, but I don't know if he can handle all that stuff on his own. You know what I'm saying? Like, my family has that experience, but again, like, I don't know it. And my cousin that grew up there may or may not know it. Like, gardens and farms are 2 totally different things. I know a whole bunch of people into gardening, but gardening and farming are 2 completely different things. So how many people do you know that know how to farm? How many people do you know that are carpenters, that know how to build houses? And you know what I'm saying? Like construction. I know a few, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, yo, if we're given that, how are we actually going to sustain ourselves? Because we count more on the other side of society than we realize we do.
I mean, I think that is something that was very prevalent in the first episode, was that he, in trying to adhere to this challenge about buying black for 3 days, he was going to try to just do everyday things, and he was realizing, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't drive my car because there are no black-owned car makers. I can't eat my food because even when he found black-owned restaurants...
Spoilers!
Okay.
Ray over here spoiling stuff.
I am, because I'm really trying to discuss this thing.
Right,
but there were holes, so let me go back. So as he was trying to do this challenge, there was holes. He couldn't perform certain things easily, and then even there were some things he couldn't even do at all. So that's a very good question. What would we do if all of a sudden tomorrow we had reparations? Here's your 40 acres, here's your land, here's your mule, go. Some of us would be SOL.
Right. And the crazy thing is like, I hear so many people always bringing up, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, and black spending power is at this amount, and blase blah. And I'm like, okay, that number sounds big, but what does that number include? Is that number just entertainment, or is that number like survival? Because again, like, yes, there are black doctors, lawyers, things of that nature, physicians, but in a collective, where the black insurance companies, like black owned and operated, that don't go to your Blue Cross, Blue Shields, and your Cignas and all those other people, car insurance, transportation, food, like all these other aspects of life. Like, if there's a pie chart, the average human, not the average black person, but the average human, period, all that living, like main living stuff, expenses are like 80%. So it's like, for us to say this is our spending power, I need to know what that number signifies, but I mean, it is what it is. But we're about to take a little break and play some music, y'all.
Music break.
And you know what I'm saying? And we will be right back, because we're talking about what are you doing? So now we pose the problems. Now we got to figure out what some of the solutions are going to be. Just keep in mind, and remember, you're listening to A-440 Radio. I'm your boy Bionic. This is Ray, and you're tuned in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the only station giving you double the information and inspiration. We'll be right back after this break.
fill your water bottle with vodka, always make sure you have a friend with you that actually has water.
Tell me why do I keep getting passed by? Tell me when will I get some attention? Tell me why do I keep getting passed by? Tell me when will I get some attention? Can someone tell me why I always get looked over? It's such a shame when people know your name, but you never picked to play in the game, no. Is it 'cause the way that I dress? I think so. Is it 'cause their lack of confidence? 'Cause I can do what they can't, and their arrogance wants to keep my light dimmed in the darkness. Do I keep getting passed by? Will I get some attention? Do I keep getting passed by? Will I get some attention? As far as talent goes, I'm alright, I suppose. But nowadays, talent don't mean a thing. It's about who's got that cash and who's kissing. That'll get you jump started fast. But my pocket's on E, and I'm not getting on my knees unless I'm praying to God to rain down on me. So call me a fool, 'cause that's the path I choose, and I refuse to play by the rules. Do I keep getting passed by? Will I get some attention? Do I keep getting passed by? Will I get some attention? Do I keep getting passed by? Will I get some attention? Do I keep getting passed by? Will I get some attention? Tell me when. Tell me why. Tell me when.
And welcome back to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, and to those streaming through the free TuneIn radio app and through iHeartRadio. You are listening to A-440 Radio, and I'm your host, Bionic, and this is my temporary, possibly permanent co-host, Ray?
Still temporary? Question mark.
Question mark. And if you're just tuning in, folks, you know, we are talking about, or our topic for the day is, what are you doing? So we presented some issues in the first segment, and we were kind of discussing Sugar Warning, Killer Mike on Netflix. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. So yeah, you know, I was talking about spending money in the Black community and talking about numbers and that type thing.
And that type thing?
Yeah.
I think what you said at the end of our first segment was that we were going to feature solutions. So let's start talking about solutions on the Black dollar.
I ain't got no solutions.
That's what you said. How you're false advertising to your
No,
audience.
I mean, no, my thing is like, you know, I don't have a problem with problems. I have a problem with lack of solutions. And just as a collective whole, you know, so many people are so quick to be like, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like that. And I'm like, okay, so what are you doing about it? And, you know, I'm fortunate enough that my parents always tried to instill in me, spend money with those that look like you.
Okay.
So growing up, I had a Black optician. Is that the word? You know, I'd be butchering that word.
Optician? You
Yeah,
mean
the person
eye
to check your
doctor?
eyes. Yeah. I had a
Yes.
Black eye doctor.
There you go.
I had a Black dentist. I honestly don't remember. I think I had a Black general practice doctor, general purpose doctor, whatever it's called.
A general practitioner?
Yeah, that. My piano teacher was Black, you know. So it was like they tried to make sure that, you know, I was taken care of in that regard, and we looked out for our people. And of course they weren't like grubby folk, and they weren't folk that were just trying to, you know, get in your pockets and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like, what are we doing to try to help either bring others closer in, inform others?
Something that I know that was circulating last week, I think it was called the MLK by Black Challenge that I'm actually going to participate in on Instagram. But there was a call to action. That's what a CTA is. A CTA that said start posting locally Black-owned businesses that you frequent, and not just to kind of start creating a whole kind of book of resources for Black-owned businesses, but also so that I lost my train of thought. We're gonna have to tape over that.
But nah, I mean, you know, and it doesn't just stop with buying
Oh,
Black.
take a day or two, kind of exactly like what Killer Mike did, is pick a day, 2, or a week inside of a month where all you're doing is buying Black, and that's it, so that you're circulating the Black dollar in the Black community. So,
And on the flip side, we gotta do better with our customer service too, folks. Cause there's some Black businesses I would love to patronize,
okay.
but the service is horrible. Folk don't like calling you back.
But isn't there also something to be said for the fact that we give more allowances
Oh, I was
to
getting there.
white-owned businesses?
Oh, I was getting there.
Because I mean, if we don't remember at this point, I've lost track. But we should be still boycotting the Waffle House, Starbucks. I lost my gold member status last year because of it. There's who else are we boycotting?
I mean,
H&M.
I've been boycotting Walmart
since
for
forever.
years. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I mean, but the thing is it's like, well, go ahead.
We tend to give more allowances to bad service when we receive them at a major chain versus when we receive them at a Black-owned business. So for example, we'll go to a Black-owned business, get bad service, and be like, we're never going here again. Whereas we can get bad service at a Starbucks and go, okay, and then the next day just drive across town and go to another Starbucks. So we keep frequenting those businesses, whereas when it comes to Black-owned businesses, we'll say, and I'm done, and we'll really be done. So that's part of the issue as well.
Right. So Black business owners, take note. Please work on your customer service. Please cherish your customers because they're the ones paying you. And please, folk, bear with these folk because, again, a lot of people want to hook up. And you got to understand, folk got bills to pay, folk got overhead, and
hookups can't pay the bills.
Right. Give them the same respect you would give their white counterparts. And so with that being said, you know, ask yourself, what are you doing the next time you have an issue? And that's about all the time we got for today. Man, this 30 minutes go by fast.
Dumb quick.
So just remember to tune in to us every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WDRB Media, the voice of the community, for double the information and inspiration. And in case you missed last week's show, you can just hit my YouTube page, which is Bionic 151, and just get a re-up on last week's show, or you can get some further discussions going on.
And as we continue to grow, we will be looking at expanding into some social media platforms, so stay tuned for that.
And as always, life is too short, so say what you mean what you say, learn who you are, be confident in what you want, stop wasting folks' time, give people a choice, and move accordingly. This is A-440 Radio. I'm Bionic.
And I'm Ray.
And we are out. Yeah, yeah. Come on. Chill, chill. Uh-huh. Yeah. I think I need to feel the breeze up on my face. Girl, now is not the time for me to plead my case. Cause all I wanna do is ride till the wheels fall off. I've got no destination. Slide till my heels get raw. Forget your expectations. Hop in the back of my van, call your job and change your plans. You're rolling with the man, you got to understand that we gon' ride till this right end. Hop in the car and roll down your window. Let the wind blow through your hair. Hop in the car and roll down your window. Let's ride off to who knows where. Let's pull up at the station, fill it up with gas. You better stretch your legs, this stop will be our last. Cause what we about to do is ride till the wheels fall off. I see the interstate, fine, bring your friends along. We'll see them on the way. Climb in the passenger side, buckle up baby, cause we gon' ride. Floating by day and skating by night. The speed limit is 75. Hop in the car and roll down your window. Let the wind blow through your hair. Hop in the car and roll down your window. Let's ride off to who knows where. Will we be coming back? I don't know. Just stay focused on the open road. We won't look in the rearview, we'll just keep looking ahead. There's no need for reverse, we'll just keep driving instead. Hop in the car and roll down your window. Let the wind blow through your hair. Hop in the car and roll down your window. Let's ride off to who knows where. Come on. Hop in the car and roll down your window. Let the wind blow through your hair. Hop in the car and roll down your window. Let's ride off to who knows where. Will we be coming back? I don't know. Just stay focused on the open road. We won't look in the rearview, we'll just keep looking